Welcome, wonderful people. Hope you are all doing well. Before we start, subscribe to our channel to support us if you like to hear more interesting fan theories like this. Let us know which Star Wars character you like the most. Also, which topic you want us to work on in our next video. Alright then. The old Jedi Order, which existed for over a millennium, fell due to several key philosophical flaws and strategic failures. A central issue was their doctrine of emotional suppression. The Jedi were forbidden from forming attachments, believing that attachments led to fear, and fear led to the dark side. This deeply dogmatic approach to emotional control caused many Jedi to struggle internally, cutting themselves off from the very human experiences that made them able to relate to others. The Jedi's blind obedience to the Republic, which ultimately led to the Clone Wars, revealed how disconnected the Jedi had become from the galactic community. By treating their role as impartial peacekeepers, without an understanding of the complex political landscape, the Jedi became less effective and more vulnerable to manipulation by those who did not share their values. The new Jedi Order, however, will not repeat these mistakes. Instead of focusing solely on emotional detachment, the Jedi of the future will learn to embrace their emotions. They will recognize that anger, fear, and attachment are not inherently evil, but are part of the natural spectrum of feelings. The key will be to learn how to channel and transform these emotions in constructive ways, rather than suppressing or denying them. They will practice emotional mastery, understanding that their passions, when properly understood and managed, can enhance their connection to the Force. This emotional maturity will allow the Jedi to connect more deeply with the galaxy's people. Instead of treating attachments as a weakness, the new Jedi Order will view them as a natural part of life, something that strengthens the bonds between individuals and communities. This change will make Jedi more relatable, more approachable, and more capable of helping others. The new Jedi will no longer be seen as distant guardians, but as compassionate spiritual guides who understand the complex emotions that govern people's lives. The fall of the Jedi Order, due to the Clone Wars, and their inability to foresee the rise of the Sith, reveals another lesson: complacency in the face of political instability. The new Jedi Order will engage more actively with political structures and the galactic community, understanding the necessity of remaining adaptable. Jedi will no longer serve blindly as peacekeepers or soldiers in the wars of the Republic or any ruling body. Instead, they will learn to serve as spiritual guides and advisors, helping to lead in times of peace and mediate in times of conflict. This adaptive philosophy will also extend to the way Jedi view warfare. Rather than viewing war as a last resort, the Jedi will understand it as a necessary evil in some cases, but will work tirelessly to find alternative solutions. First, their training will emphasize the moral implications of using the Force in combat, and the Jedi will work to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. This marks a profound shift in their philosophy, where the preservation of life becomes as important as the pursuit of peace. The old Jedi Code was strict, emphasizing detachment, discipline, and the suppression of emotions. However, these teachings ultimately failed to prepare Jedi for the complexities of real-world conflicts and personal struggles. The new Jedi Order will evolve the Code, incorporating the lessons of Rey, the Force Dyad, and the rise of the Sith. The new teachings will center on a more holistic view of the Force, where Jedi are taught to embrace their emotions while understanding that these feelings must be channeled responsibly. The Jedi will be taught that anger, fear, sadness, and attachment are not inherently evil. Instead, they will learn to use these emotions as catalysts for growth. The Jedi will be trained to process emotions in healthy ways, using them to guide their decisions and interactions with others. The new Jedi Order's teachings will highlight self-awareness and the balance between the light and dark sides of the Force. This evolution will result in a new Jedi code that places less emphasis on emotional repression and more on emotional intelligence. The Jedi will learn to transcend both light and dark, seeing them as two complementary aspects of the same spiritual whole. Jedi will be trained to integrate the best aspects of the light and dark sides, understanding their power and potential while avoiding the extremes of either side. The code could look something like this. Balance in the Force is achieved through self-awareness, not suppression. Emotions are part of the journey. They should be understood, not denied. Compassion is the core of our strength. Peace is achieved not through dominance, but through unity and understanding. The Force is not a weapon to be wielded, but an energy to be respected and embraced. True strength comes from the connection between all beings, not from isolation. This updated Jedi Code will guide future Jedi in cultivating wisdom, balance, and emotional intelligence in all areas of their lives. Jedi will no longer be detached monks. They will be connected spiritual leaders, helping the galaxy grow through shared wisdom and compassion. Rey, as the last of the Skywalker bloodline and the one who defeated Emperor Palpatine, stands as a symbol of hope and balance for the galaxy. Her understanding of the Force is unique. She has not been raised in the traditional Jedi ways, nor has she been bound by the same constraints that shaped the old Jedi Order. Instead, Rey has experienced the Force on her terms, embracing both light and dark, and ultimately understanding that they are not opposing forces, but two aspects of the same energy. Her unique experience with the Force dyad, the deep spiritual connection she shared with Kylo Ren, further cemented her belief that the balance between light and dark is not a contradiction, but a necessary harmony. This spiritual insight will be central to her role in the formation of the new Jedi Order. Rey will teach the next generation of Jedi to see the Force not as a tool for domination, but as a living energy to be understood, respected, and harmonized. Her vision for the Jedi Order will center around balance, where Jedi do not shy away from their emotions, but instead learn to understand and manage them. She will emphasize that the Jedi do not stand apart from the galaxy, but rather serve and connect with all beings, recognizing the interconnectedness of all life. In essence, Rey will serve as a bridge between the old ways of the Jedi and the future of the Jedi. She will revise the Jedi Code, focusing on emotional intelligence, personal growth, and understanding. The Jedi of the future will not be distant guardians of peace, but spiritual guides, teaching others how to find balance within themselves and their connection to the Force. Rey's teachings will emphasize community over individualism. Jedi will no longer be trained to isolate themselves in pursuit of enlightenment, but to be integrated members of society. Their role will not be solely to protect or defend, but to mentor, heal, and serve those who are in need of guidance. True Jedi strength will come from their ability to build connections with others, helping to restore balance to the galaxy by spreading peace and understanding. The new Jedi Order, unlike its predecessor, does not just stand as a restoration of the old Jedi ways, but as an evolution, one that takes into account the failures, the misjudgments, and the lessons learned from the past. The fall of the old Jedi Order left a significant hole in the galaxy, a vacuum that was exploited by the Sith, the Empire, and later the First Order, all of which capitalized on the Jedi's inability to adapt to the changing tides of the galaxy. The Jedi's inability to perceive the growing threat of the Sith, their detachment from the emotional needs of the galaxy's people, and their rigid adherence to tradition contributed to their downfall. The new Jedi Order will rise from the ashes of these mistakes, driven by a new, more enlightened understanding of the Force, and will seek to avoid the mistakes that led to the previous Jedi's downfall. The foundation of the new Jedi Order will be built not upon strict rules and cold emotional detachment, but on a philosophy that embraces the full spectrum of the Force, acknowledging the light and the dark, not as polar opposites, but as complementary forces that must be understood, respected, and balanced. Rey's journey of redemption and understanding through her connection with Kylo Ren and the Force Dyad offers a fresh perspective on what it means to truly master the Force, a perspective that is free from the extremes that dominated the Jedi and Sith orders for millennia. The future Jedi will not shy away from emotions, but will learn to understand and harness them, using these feelings as tools for growth, strength, and spiritual development. This new order of Jedi will connect with the galaxy's people in ways that their predecessors could never achieve. Rather than seeing themselves as separate from the galaxy, the new Jedi Order will be deeply involved in galactic affairs, not just as peacekeepers, but as spiritual leaders, counselors, and guides. Jedi will learn to recognize the interconnectedness of all living things and will be trained to use their wisdom and empathy to foster a more harmonious universe. By embracing emotion, connection, and the balance between light and dark, the Jedi of the future will help repair the damage done by centuries of galactic division and war. The new Jedi Order will not simply focus on combat training and the mastery of lightsaber techniques. Instead, its training methods will prioritize holistic spiritual development. Future Jedi will be taught to meditate, reflect, and connect deeply with the Force in a way that promotes inner peace and balance. Their role will not just be to protect the galaxy from evil, but to heal it, mending the rifts between species, rebuilding fractured societies, and fostering understanding across the galaxy. The Jedi will no longer see themselves as isolated guardians, but as active participants in the galaxy's ongoing spiritual evolution. Rey Sip's role in rebuilding the Jedi Order, a new vision for the Force. At the heart of the new Jedi Order lies Rey, whose journey to becoming the last Jedi marks the beginning of a new era in galactic history. Rey's unique connection with the Force Dyad, particularly with Kylo Ren, provides her with a deep understanding of the complexity of the Force. Transcending the old Jedi philosophy of light only and embracing the darkness in a healthy, balanced way. Rey's experience with the Dyad proves that the Force is not a black and white dichotomy, but a fluid and dynamic energy that exists in a constant state of balance. Through her bond with Kylo, Rey learned that true mastery over the Force lies in understanding both sides, accepting both the light and the dark, and integrating them into a unified whole. This is a lesson that will become the foundation of her teachings in the new Jedi Order. Where previous Jedi Masters focused on detachment and repression of emotions, Rey's Jedi will be taught to embrace their humanity, to use their passions and emotions to fuel their spiritual growth. Emotional intelligence will be central to their training, enabling Jedi to not only harness the Force, but also navigate complex galactic politics, relationships, and personal growth. The new Jedi Order will be open to change, realizing that the galaxy itself is in constant flux, and that the Force, much like the galaxy, cannot be contained within rigid boundaries. Rey will teach the new generation of Jedi that the Force is not a means to an end, but a path that leads to personal transformation. She will help them understand that their connection to the Force is not defined by strict rules or external expectations, but by their ability to connect with the living energy of the universe. Jedi will learn to listen to the Force rather than control it, and in doing so will create a new legacy, one that embraces the full spectrum of existence and helps the galaxy achieve a greater understanding of unity and balance. A new approach to Jedi training, emotional growth, and spiritual connection. The training of future Jedi will be radically different from that of the old Jedi Order. Rather than focusing purely on lightsaber techniques, battle strategies, and discipline, Jedi training will involve deep personal reflection, emotional growth, and the development of spiritual wisdom. Jedi will no longer be asked to suppress their emotions, but to understand and transform them. The Jedi will practice mindfulness, meditation, and introspection, tools that allow them to connect deeply with the Force and understand their role within it. They will be trained to channel their emotions not into violence or conflict, but into creativity, healing, and empathy. Jedi will also be encouraged to explore the different aspects of the Force that were previously misunderstood or ignored. Rey's vision of the new order involves a more open-minded approach to the Force, where Jedi are encouraged to question and explore their connection to it without the constraints of old dogmas. Jedi will not only be taught to use the Force for peace, but will also actively work to build understanding across the galaxy, spanning the divide between light and dark, republics and empire, species and cultures. The new Jedi Order will be inclusive, open, and more spiritually connected with the people of the galaxy than ever before. At the heart of this new training system is the idea of unity, unity with oneself, unity with the Force, and unity with others. The Jedi will no longer see themselves as detached observers, but as active participants in the universe's spiritual journey. They will work together as community leaders, healers, and diplomats, using their wisdom to restore peace, build trust, and guide the galaxy toward a brighter future. The Jedi Sith's role in galactic governance and peacekeeping. The new Jedi Order will have a strong influence on galactic governance, but this will not mean that Jedi will assume positions of political power. Instead, their role will be to advise, mediate, and counsel those in positions of authority, ensuring that decisions made for the galaxy's future are rooted in spiritual balance, empathy, and shared responsibility. Jedi will serve as spiritual guides in the galaxy, helping governments, leaders, and individuals find the path toward long-lasting peace and understanding. In a galaxy that has known constant warfare, the Jedi will be instrumental in rebuilding societies, reconciling past conflicts, and healing emotional wounds caused by decades of war. Their training in emotional intelligence and compassion will make them uniquely qualified to serve as diplomats, conflict mediators, and healers. Jedi will no longer be the silent warrior monks of old, but proactive and engaged leaders who work directly with those in need, using their wisdom and emotional understanding to help create a more balanced and connected galaxy. Jedi will also work alongside non-Force sensitive beings to create a unified galaxy that respects both the spiritual and material needs of all life. They will foster interspecies diplomacy and guide galactic institutions toward policies that encourage peaceful coexistence and shared responsibility. The new Jedi Order will be at the forefront of these efforts, demonstrating that true peace is not achieved through military might or political control, but through spiritual growth, empathy, and cooperation. As the new Jedi Order rises from the ashes of past failures, the first critical shift will be the development of Jedi training that emphasizes holistic learning. Future Jedi will not simply be trained in combat and warfare, but will undergo a complete spiritual education that fosters personal growth and emotional resilience. The Jedi will need to understand their own emotions and learn how to channel them in ways that promote balance rather than conflict. No longer will Jedi be forced to suppress their feelings in an effort to avoid the dark side. Instead, they will learn to acknowledge and manage their emotions, understanding that feelings like anger, fear, and passion are not inherently dangerous, but can become destructive if left unchecked or repressed. Jedi training will involve deep introspection and meditation, practices that encourage Jedi to connect with their inner selves and understand their true nature in relation to the living Force. The Jedi of the future will be trained to understand the Force, not as a weapon, but as a living energy that is part of the universe's ongoing evolution. This evolutionary approach to the Force will guide Jedi to become spiritual leaders, capable of both healing and leading the galaxy through tumultuous times. Jedi will no longer serve as isolated warriors or peacekeepers, but as active participants in the galaxy's recovery and spiritual growth. Instead of seeing themselves as enforcers of a rigid moral code, future Jedi will view their role as guides, helping individuals and societies navigate their own paths to balance and understanding. Their spiritual guidance will be integral to the rebuilding of a galaxy that has known war, division, and destruction for far too long. Furthermore, Rey's influence will lead to the reconciliation of Jedi philosophies with the broader needs of the galaxy. While traditional Jedi training often emphasized detachment and self-restraint, Rey's experiences in connecting with both the light and dark sides will offer a new approach, one that integrates both rather than suppressing one in favor of the other. Future Jedi will understand that true mastery of the Force comes from balance and awareness, not from the avoidance of personal emotions, but from learning to channel them for greater good. Rey will be instrumental in teaching Jedi that they are not separate from the galaxy, but are in fact an integral part of its spiritual fabric. This more inclusive and balanced approach to training will lead to Jedi becoming leaders in many different sectors of galactic society. The new Jedi Order will take on an expanded role in galactic governance, not as rulers or conquerors, but as spiritual advisors, mentors, and mediators. They will use their deep connection to the Force to help guide the galaxy through its recovery from the wars and conflict that have plagued it for centuries. Jedi will no longer be mere servants of power, but guides for spiritual awakening. This transformation of the Jedi Order will create a new kind of leadership, one rooted in empathy, understanding, and shared responsibility. Jedi will act as peacemakers and healers, helping to resolve disputes, settle political tensions, and bring people together to build a more harmonious galaxy. As galactic conflict continues to arise, the Jedi's role will shift from fighting for peace to building peace. The Jedi will use their wisdom to help heal the emotional scars left by past wars and conflicts, creating a society where emotional resilience and spiritual healing are prioritized. Emotional intelligence will be central to how the Jedi of the future engage with the galaxy's people. Rather than viewing emotions as obstacles to peace, Jedi will recognize the power of emotions to guide their actions, to form connections, and to ultimately bring about peace through understanding. The new Jedi Order will help the galaxy's people understand that true peace is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to find unity and balance within oneself and with others. One of the major ways the new Jedi Order will contribute to this shift will be through galactic diplomacy. Jedi will be at the forefront of intergalactic peacekeeping efforts, using their understanding of the Force to mediate between warring factions, speak for the voiceless, and create mutual understanding among different species. Jedi will no longer serve as silent warriors, observing from the sidelines as politics unfold, but will take an active role in the processes of change. Their deep connection to the living force will allow them to see through the veil of political agendas and guide the galaxy toward collective healing. They will no longer be neutral bystanders, but active agents of peace and spiritual balance. As the new Jedi Order takes on these important roles, they will also redefine the way Jedi interact with non-Force sensitive beings. Historically, the Jedi Order maintained a somewhat separate and elite status, only interacting with non-Force sensitive individuals when necessary. However, the Jedi of the future will recognize that all beings, whether Force sensitive or not, have an important role in the galaxy's spiritual evolution. Jedi will engage more directly with non-Force sensitive species, helping them to discover their own spiritual paths, forge connections, and understand the Force in a more inclusive way. Rather than seeing themselves as superior, the new Jedi Order will see the Force as a shared responsibility, one that all beings can access and contribute to, even if they do not have the innate ability to sense it. The new Jedi Order will also emphasize the importance of mentorship. Rather than simply teaching Jedi how to wield a lightsaber, Jedi will be trained as mentors who guide others in personal growth, self-discovery, and spiritual enlightenment. Future Jedi will not just be protectors of peace, but teachers who help others realize their potential and live in alignment with the Force. Jedi will foster a sense of community and shared wisdom, creating a culture of spiritual learning and personal evolution. Jedi will no longer see themselves as solitary figures, but as part of a greater galactic family, working together to create balance and unity in the galaxy. Ultimately, the new Jedi Order will play an instrumental role in rebuilding the galaxy, not just in terms of physical infrastructure, but in terms of its spiritual health. By helping to heal the emotional wounds of those who have lived through the Sith Wars, the Empire's reign, and the First Order's destruction, the Jedi will lead the galaxy toward an age of spiritual enlightenment, compassion, and shared growth. The Jedi of the future will embody the teachings of balance, acceptance, and unity, creating a galaxy united by the Force, where peace is not only achieved through diplomacy, but through a deeper understanding and acceptance of the Force as a living, breathing energy that connects all beings. The Jedi and their role in shaping a new galaxy. The new Jedi Order will evolve into much more than a spiritual institution. It will become the central pillar of guidance for the galactic community, leading by example not only as peacekeepers and diplomats, but as the spiritual mentors of the galaxy. With the lessons of the past firmly ingrained in their teachings, the Jedi will no longer see themselves as separate or aloof from the galaxy's daily struggles. They will recognize that their role is not to enforce a strict code of detachment, but to serve as beacons of hope, unity, and guidance for all beings, Force-sensitive or not. The new Jedi Order will likely need to build strong alliances with non-Force-sensitive beings to succeed. Unlike the old Order, which often viewed itself as a separate class, the new Jedi Order will see itself as part of a larger galactic ecosystem where all beings, regardless of their connection to the Force, are integral to the galaxy's growth. The Jedi will rebuild relationships with species and civilizations that have suffered due to the wars and disastrous regimes of the past, such as the Empire, Separatists, and First Order. Future Jedi will be trained in emotional intelligence, learning not just to guide Force-sensitive individuals, but also to lead non-Force-sensitive beings, This could result in the Jedi becoming more involved in galactic politics, using their wisdom and empathy to mediate conflicts, resolve issues, and help nations and species find common ground. Rather than simply remaining detached from galactic affairs, the new Jedi Order will actively engage in creating a more peaceful, cooperative, and interconnected galaxy. Jedi will no longer be seen as neutral observers. They will be deeply involved in shaping policies, helping civilizations rebuild after years of destruction. They will be trusted spiritual guides to both politicians and common people, offering insight into not only how to govern, but also how to live with emotional integrity and compassion. This will make the Jedi not just a military force, but a moral compass for the galaxy, one that serves as a beacon for all to follow. Jedi will also be called upon to mediate interspecies conflicts. The galaxy is home to a wide array of species, each with their own cultures, values, and histories. The Jedi, understanding the importance of unity in the Force, will foster dialogue, understanding, and compromise among these groups. They will teach that diversity is not a weakness, but a strength, and that the galaxy can only move forward by embracing the differences that make each species unique. Intergalactic diplomacy. The Jedi as mediators and peacekeepers. The Jedi's involvement in diplomatic efforts will be a key element of the new Jedi Order. Instead of focusing on combat as the primary means of intervention, future Jedi will be trained diplomats, using their deep connection with the Force to bring about peaceful solutions. They will serve as mediators and arbitrators, resolving conflicts not through violence, but through understanding and compassion. In this new role, Jedi will work directly with galactic leaders, helping them navigate the complexities of galactic governance and interspecies relations. They will act as spiritual guides to political leaders, advising them on how to lead with wisdom, balance, and empathy. Jedi will teach that true leadership does not come from force or coercion, but from the ability to listen, understand, and serve the greater good. By using their deep knowledge of the Force, Jedi will guide leaders to make decisions that serve the long-term peace and unity of the galaxy, rather than their own personal or political interests. Moreover, Jedi will take on the role of ambassadors between different galactic factions. Given their connection to the Force, they will be able to sense the emotions and intentions of those they interact with, enabling them to act as trusted mediators in negotiations. They will seek to find common ground among rival factions, promoting mutual respect and understanding. This new approach to diplomacy will involve collaborative problem-solving, focusing on restoring harmony to civilizations fractured by past conflicts. The Jedi will also be involved in intergalactic conflict resolution, working not only within the galaxy's political institutions, but also with non-governmental entities, communities, and activist groups. They will play a pivotal role in rebuilding the galaxy's infrastructure, guiding planets, systems, and species that have suffered the effects of war, oppression, and corruption. Jedi will be called upon to advise and mentor in situations that require both spiritual and practical solutions, helping to heal the wounds left by years of conflict and division. The Jedi's role in galactic diplomacy will also involve maintaining peace in regions where tensions are high. They will be the first to respond to interplanetary disputes, working to prevent escalation and offering alternative solutions that align with the values of the new Jedi Order. They will use their spiritual wisdom to promote balance, understanding that even in the most chaotic situations, the Force can provide a path to peace. The Jedi and the rebuilding of the galaxy. The new Jedi Order will not simply serve as guardians of the Force, but as agents of healing and reconstruction in the post-war galaxy. After the fall of the Empire, the rise of the First Order, and the devastating wars that followed, the galaxy will need more than just military action. It will need spiritual recovery, emotional healing, and rebuilding from the ground up. The Jedi, with their unique connection to the Force, will be in a perfect position to lead the charge in this healing process. The Jedi will establish meditation centers across the galaxy, where people from all walks of life can come to heal, reflect, and connect with their inner selves. These centers will serve as hubs of wisdom, where Jedi and non-Force sensitive beings alike can share knowledge and learn from each other. Jedi will not see themselves as distant authorities, but as facilitators of spiritual growth. These centers will also serve as schools, where Jedi teach not just lightsaber techniques, but philosophy, emotional intelligence, and Force mastery. These training centers will create a new type of Jedi who are not only skilled in combat, but are also wise in the ways of the Force and spirituality. The Jedi will also be involved in helping rebuild physical infrastructure on war-torn planets. They will assist in rebuilding cities, restoring communication systems, and helping communities reconstruct their economies. Jedi will serve as mentors to politicians, educators, and activists, ensuring that the reconstruction process is guided by the values of peace, balance, and shared responsibility. Additionally, the new Jedi Order will work to decolonize and rebuild relationships between systems that have been oppressed or controlled by authoritarian regimes. They will seek to repair the damage done by the Empire, First Order, and other forces that have tried to maintain power through fear and coercion. Jedi will help to empower indigenous populations, foster self-determination, and ensure that the voice of every being in the galaxy is heard and respected. The Jedi will not only be rebuilding physical structures, but social and cultural ones as well, emphasizing the importance of mutual respect and the recognition of diversity as a source of strength. The Jedi Sith's role in facing new challenges. As the galaxy recovers and shifts into a new era, the new Jedi Order will face new challenges that go beyond the old divisions of light and dark. One challenge will be the emergence of new Force-sensitive beings who may not have the same training or understanding of the Jedi path. The Jedi will need to adapt their teachings to integrate these new Force users, offering guidance that does not adhere to old dogmas but embraces the diversity of Force expression. Jedi will be tasked with guiding these new practitioners, helping them find their way and ensuring that they do not repeat the mistakes of the past. Additionally, the new Jedi Order will face new threats to galactic peace, groups that may wish to exploit the Force for personal gain or military power. While the galaxy may no longer face the Empire or the First Order, new factions will rise, and the Jedi will be needed to protect the galaxy once again. The new Jedi Order will not be bound by the old methods of fighting for control or dominance. Instead, they will approach these threats with a more balanced and spiritual perspective, using wisdom and diplomacy as much as combat to prevent the rise of future tyrants. Finally, the new Jedi Order will face the task of reconciling with the past, not only their mistakes, but the pain caused by the Sith and their corruption of the Force. This will require deep healing and the ability to forgive, even those who have caused immense harm to the galaxy. Jedi will need to come to terms with the past, while looking forward to the future, ensuring that they don't repeat the same mistakes that led to the rise of the Sith in the first place. The new Jedi Order. Institutional growth and training practices. The institutional structure of the new Jedi Order will differ greatly from the old Jedi Order. Instead of being an exclusive and insular group, The new Jedi Order will aim to become more inclusive, adaptive, and connected with the galaxy at large. The Order will no longer reside in the confines of a single temple, but will be spread across various parts of the galaxy, establishing training centers and meditation sanctuaries where Jedi can hone their skills and engage with the larger community. These training centers will not be isolated, monastic institutions, but will be more open, welcoming both Force-sensitive and non-Force-sensitive individuals who seek to understand and connect with the Force. Jedi training will extend beyond the traditional realms of lightsaber combat and telekinesis. The new Jedi will be trained to understand their emotional selves, to nurture their spiritual growth, and to balance the light and dark within them. The new training will focus on personal reflection, meditation, and self-awareness, allowing Jedi to develop not just their connection to the Force, but their connection to themselves and the galaxy. These centers will serve as places of learning and healing, fostering community-based growth rather than isolated development. Jedi of all ages will be encouraged to share their experiences and insights, creating a dynamic learning environment where the focus is on spiritual evolution rather than perfection or rigid conformity. Training will be tailored to individual needs, allowing Jedi to pursue paths that align with their natural affinities, whether in healing, meditation, conflict resolution, or Force-based diplomacy. Jedi will not only engage in physical combat training, but also be trained in peacekeeping, mediation, and galactic diplomacy. They will learn to be sensitive to the cultural differences between species and will be taught how to approach conflicts with empathy and a focus on restoring balance rather than dominance. Jedi will be skilled in the arts of communication and emotional intelligence, able to diffuse tense situations through spiritual wisdom and non-violent solutions. Moreover, Jedi mentorship will be emphasized, allowing experienced Jedi to guide younger ones and those new to the Order. These relationships will be founded on the principles of compassion, where Jedi understand that their role is not only to teach, but to learn from others. The Jedi will become spiritual mentors and advisors, guiding not just individuals but also planets, species, and political factions in their spiritual journey. The relationship between master and apprentice will be rooted in mutual respect, with both parties learning and growing through their shared connection to the Force. In addition to traditional training methods, the new Jedi Order will look to integrate new technologies that complement their spiritual practices. Holocrons, Force-sensitive crystals, and living technology will be explored to enhance communication and learning, but always in service of spiritual growth rather than mere technological advancement. The Order's teachings will reflect an understanding of the Force that includes not just psychic power, but the mystical and mystery that underpins all life. The Jedi and their relationship with the galaxy's political structures. One of the most significant changes in the new Jedi Order will be its role in galactic governance. In the past, the Jedi were viewed as neutral peacekeepers, separate from the political systems they served. This detachment allowed the Jedi to become a tool of the Republic, following orders from the Senate and the Chancellor without critically questioning the political or moral implications of those orders. The Clone Wars exposed the flaws in this approach, as the Jedi became unwittingly entangled in the galaxy's political struggles, ultimately leading to their downfall. The new Jedi Order will not repeat the mistakes of the past. While Jedi will still serve as guardians of peace, they will no longer be detached from the political systems they serve. They will not be beholden to any one government, and they will not blindly obey orders. Instead, Jedi will work as advisors and mediators, helping to guide the galaxy's political leaders toward decisions that are rooted in spiritual wisdom, balance, and the collective good. The Jedi will be consultants for galactic governments, helping them navigate complex political situations with empathy and understanding. Their role will be nonpartisan, focused on ensuring that political decisions serve the galactic community as a whole. Jedi will act as mediators in intergalactic diplomacy, resolving conflicts not through the use of force but through understanding and shared wisdom. Furthermore, the new Jedi Order will encourage the reformation of galactic governance into a more inclusive and democratic system. Jedi will not serve as supreme rulers, but will work to establish representative councils and intergalactic agreements that reflect the collective will of the galaxy's people. The Jedi will act as advisors, guiding governments toward equitable policies that promote peace, justice, and shared prosperity. They will help the galaxy recover from the ruin of the Sith, the Empire, and the First Order, creating a system where the Force is used not to dominate, but to unite and heal. Jedi will also serve as spiritual advisors for the leaders of various political factions, offering guidance on how to balance their personal ambitions with the greater needs of the galaxy. By promoting the idea of spiritual balance and self-awareness, Jedi will help leaders understand that true power lies not in conquest or control, but in compassion, understanding, and shared responsibility. The Jedi Sep's role in galactic healing and rebuilding post-war. The galaxy will need more than just military victories to heal. The devastating effects of the Clone Wars, the rise of the Empire, and the First Order have left deep scars on the galactic psyche, emotional, psychological, and spiritual wounds that cannot be mended by force alone. The Jedi will play a central role in this healing process, not just by protecting the galaxy, but by healing the wounds of war and destruction. Jedi will be trained in spiritual healing, learning to use the Force to mend emotional trauma and restore balance to broken communities. Jedi will serve as counselors to those who have been affected by the galaxy's wars, helping them process their grief, understand their emotions, and move forward with hope. Jedi will create safe spaces for individuals to heal, focusing on personal recovery and community restoration. The Jedi will help societies rediscover the value of cooperation, understanding, and compassion, principles that were lost during the long years of conflict. Additionally, the new Jedi Order will play an integral role in rebuilding destroyed planets and restoring infrastructure. Jedi will work with local leaders and community members to rebuild the economy, education systems, and social institutions that were ravaged by war. They will help guide the reconstruction efforts, focusing not only on physical rebuilding, but also on spiritual renewal, ensuring that the galaxy's future is founded on a foundation of balance, empathy, and peace. Jedi will also work to decolonize and liberate systems that were previously under the rule of oppressive regimes. They will help restore sovereignty to planets and species that were dominated by the Empire, First Order, and other totalitarian forces. By teaching these species how to connect with the Force, Jedi will empower them to reclaim their agency and define their own paths in the galaxy. Jedi will be champions of freedom, working to break the chains of oppression and help bring about a galaxy where all beings can live in peace. The Jedi Sep's role in intergalactic relationships and unity. The new Jedi Order will play an instrumental role in intergalactic relationships, not as neutral peacekeepers, but as active spiritual leaders and advisors who help bring unity to the galaxy. The galaxy has seen too much division, from the Empire's control over star systems to the sectarian conflicts created by the Sith. With the destruction of the First Order, the galaxy's people will need to rediscover intergalactic unity, cooperation, and mutual respect, values that the Jedi will help foster. Instead of remaining isolated, the new Jedi Order will engage in diplomacy and interspecies cooperation, acting as bridges between different species, planets, and governments. The Jedi will be seen as unifiers, capable of bridging cultural and ideological divides. They will not only mediate conflicts, but will cultivate relationships between Force-sensitive and non-Force-sensitive beings, helping to restore balance to civilizations that have been torn apart by years of war and oppression. Jedi will also engage in educational outreach, teaching people across the galaxy about the Force, not as an exclusive power for a select few, but as a universal energy that connects all living beings. Jedi will work with governments to help develop educational systems that teach the balance of the Force, showing that both light and dark can be used to serve the greater good. The Jedi's teachings will go beyond combat techniques and meditation, delving into moral philosophy, emotional resilience, and interpersonal connection. The new Jedi Order will guide the galaxy in understanding that the Force is not just an internal power, but a unifying force that connects all living things, irrespective of species or background. This view of the Force will encourage intergalactic cooperation, where all life forms, from humans to Wookiees to Togrutas, work together for a common cause: the peaceful coexistence of the galaxy. By teaching people to see their shared connection to the Force, the Jedi will foster a sense of unity that transcends the traditional barriers of culture, species, and power. The Jedi Sep's role in galactic governance and peacebuilding. The new Jedi Order will move beyond the role of military enforcers and servants of galactic politics into one of active political leadership. Not in the sense of governing, but as spiritual leaders who help shape and guide the galaxy's political landscape. Instead of being subservient to the Republic or Empire, the Jedi will stand as advisors to galactic leaders, helping them navigate the complex challenges of the post-war galaxy. Their spiritual wisdom, empathy, and understanding of the Force will make them invaluable in shaping policies that aim to ensure lasting peace and unity. In the new Jedi Order, Jedi will serve as mediators and diplomats, working with both galactic institutions and independent planets to build lasting alliances and peace treaties. Their training will no longer be focused purely on combat and military strategy. Instead, Jedi will be trained in political theory, conflict resolution, and emotional intelligence, ensuring they are equipped to lead the galaxy toward a more balanced and fair future. The Jedi will also serve as advisors to newly formed galactic governing bodies, whether these be democratic systems formed in the wake of the Empire's fall, or more localized governing councils formed by independent systems. The Jedi will emphasize that peace is achieved not through military might, but through shared wisdom, compassion, and a focus on healing. Their role will not be to rule, but to guide political leaders with the understanding that true leadership comes from service to others and from spiritual alignment with the living Force. Restoring balance. Jedi as healers and guides. One of the most profound roles the new Jedi Order will play is that of healers, not just of bodies, but of minds, hearts, and spirits. The galaxy is a place that has been ravaged by centuries of war, division, and political manipulation. The Jedi, with their deep understanding of the living Force, will be instrumental in helping individuals and communities heal from the emotional and spiritual scars of war. Their spiritual wisdom and emotional intelligence will allow them to become effective healers of the soul, guiding those who have been affected by loss, trauma, and violence toward peace and spiritual growth. Healing will not only take place within the Jedi Order, but also through the communities they serve. Jedi will be deeply embedded in galactic society, working in hospitals, refugee camps, and meditation centers to help people process their grief and rebuild their emotional resilience. Jedi will be counselors and therapists, teaching others how to connect with the Force in a way that fosters emotional growth and heals spiritual wounds. Rather than seeing violence and pain as inevitable parts of life, Jedi will emphasize the need for healing, compassion, and forgiveness, teachings that will resonate across the galaxy and foster a new era of spiritual recovery. The Jedi's role as healers will also extend to the galaxy's mental health crisis created by the long history of war and oppression. Jedi will be trained to recognize the signs of psychological trauma and will develop specialized training techniques to help people address mental health challenges. They will teach that healing is a spiritual process and emotional balance is essential to personal growth. Jedi will not simply focus on physical well-being, but will also ensure that they foster spiritual well-being in those they serve. Jedi and their relationship to technology and galactic innovation. While the Jedi are often seen as traditionalists who focus primarily on spiritual practices, the new Jedi Order will understand that the future of the galaxy depends on the integration of spirituality with technological advancement. The Jedi will not be afraid to embrace innovation and modern technology, but they will do so in a way that aligns with their spiritual beliefs and moral code. The Jedi will recognize that technology, like the Force itself, is a tool, and that it can be used for both good and evil depending on how it is wielded. The new Jedi Order will work alongside galactic engineers, scientists, and technologists to develop innovations that support peace and galactic rebuilding. Jedi will advocate for sustainable and ethical technologies that enhance life rather than exploit it. They will focus on developing technologies that promote empathy, communication, and cooperation, ensuring that the technological advancements of the galaxy support the greater good and do not lead to the oppression of sentient beings. For instance, Force-enhanced technologies could emerge, such as living ships that grow and evolve through the Force, biotechnologies that allow for better healthcare, and hollow communication networks powered by the Force, enabling real-time communication across vast distances. The Jedi will help shape these technologies, ensuring that they are used for peaceful purposes and the restoration of balance, not for war or domination. The new Jedi Order will also help empower local communities to use technology in ways that are sustainable and promote shared prosperity. Rather than relying on centralized power structures, the Jedi will teach that technology should be used to empower individuals and small communities, allowing them to thrive without being subjected to oppressive regimes. The Jedi's role will be to guide these technological advancements toward empowerment, freedom, and spiritual growth, ensuring that they serve the greater good. Jedi and the new generation, training the next leaders of the galaxy. The new Jedi Order will face its greatest challenge in the form of training the next generation of Jedi beings who are not just Force-sensitive, but also deeply connected to the galaxy's spiritual fabric. The Jedi will need to teach these new students not just how to use the Force, but also how to live harmoniously with others, navigate interpersonal relationships, and understand the importance of balance in all aspects of life. This training will go beyond traditional Jedi teachings, embracing the diverse and evolving nature of the galaxy. Jedi will train young initiates not just in combat, but in leadership, empathy, and conflict resolution. The Jedi will prepare their students to become leaders of the galaxy, ensuring that they can guide others with wisdom, compassion, and balance. Jedi will teach that the greatest strength lies not in controlling others, but in empowering them to find their own path in the galaxy. The Jedi and galactic justice, redefining the role of the Jedi in crime and punishment. The new Jedi Order will face challenges in maintaining galactic peace, one of which will be their approach to justice. Historically, the Jedi acted as impartial judges in times of conflict, enforcing peace in battlefields, and providing counsel in political disputes. However, in the aftermath of war and oppression, a new approach to galactic justice will be required. The Jedi will need to redefine their role as guardians of peace, not just in the traditional sense of law enforcement, but as spiritual guides who help lead the galaxy toward a more inclusive, fair, and balanced system of justice. The new Jedi Order will adopt a more holistic and empathetic approach to justice. Rather than simply enforcing the law or imposing punishments, Jedi will act as mediators, helping individuals and societies work through their issues and conflicts. Jedi will learn to view justice not as a system of retribution, but as a process of restoration, one that focuses on healing, reconciliation, and personal growth. Instead of immediately resorting to combat or incarceration, Jedi will work to understand the motivations behind actions, helping offenders recognize the impact of their behavior on others. Through their deep connection to the Force, Jedi will be able to sense emotions, intentions, and motivations, allowing them to navigate complex ethical dilemmas and provide solutions that focus on restorative justice. They will seek to restore balance, not through punishment, but through helping those who have committed wrongs to transform themselves and reintegrate into society. For example, rather than sentencing a criminal to life imprisonment, the Jedi may counsel and guide the individual to understand their actions, work with them to restore the harm done, and provide spiritual healing to help them become a better person. In cases of intergalactic crime or galactic corruption, the Jedi will be involved in finding solutions that are not rooted in revenge, but in the restoration of balance. This will involve a shift from the old Jedi way of being strict enforcers to becoming spiritual leaders who are capable of guiding societies and individuals back to the path of peace and equilibrium. The Jedi and ethics, a new philosophy for moral decision-making. The new Jedi Order will also be responsible for reshaping Jedi ethics, a complex and evolving subject that involves not only how Jedi use the Force, but how they navigate the moral questions of life, death, and interpersonal relationships. The Jedi Code will undergo a significant evolution, emphasizing the need for balance rather than rigid rules about detachment and emotionlessness. Future Jedi will be encouraged to embrace their emotions as part of the human experience, using them as sources of strength and growth rather than as threats to be suppressed. However, this shift will also require new ethical frameworks for navigating the complexities of galactic life. Jedi will need to answer difficult questions such as, when is it appropriate to use the Force? How do Jedi balance the need to protect with the need to respect autonomy? What role do Jedi play in a society with diverse moral beliefs? Jedi will develop their own ethical guidelines that respect the diversity of cultures and species across the galaxy while maintaining a deep connection to their spiritual practice. The new Jedi Order will seek to compromise and engage with cultures that might view the Force and Force users differently. Jedi will be required to constantly re-examine their beliefs and apply them in a way that honors the galaxy's diversity. Jedi will not be allowed to operate in a vacuum of idealism. They will be challenged by the realities of the galaxy, and they will have to make difficult choices that balance justice, compassion, and spiritual integrity. The new ethical framework for the Jedi will likely involve several key principles. 1. Emotional responsibility. Jedi will embrace their emotions as part of their humanity and seek to understand rather than suppress them. Emotions will be seen as an essential part of the spiritual journey, allowing Jedi to understand and connect with others on a deeper level. 2. Harmony with the galaxy. Jedi will always work to bring balance and harmony to the galaxy. Their actions will be driven by the desire to help others find their path to peace, healing, and understanding. Jedi will no longer see themselves as above others, but as partners in the greater spiritual journey. 3. Service over authority. Jedi will serve the galaxy's collective growth rather than seeking personal power. Their role will be to serve and guide, not to control or dominate others. 4. Non-violence. While Jedi will always be ready to protect the galaxy from harm, they will prioritize non-violent methods of resolution, seeing combat as a last resort. Jedi will explore diplomatic avenues before resorting to violence, focusing on peaceful conflict resolution. The Jedi Sith's role as spiritual mentors, leading the galaxy toward unity. At the heart of the new Jedi Order will be their role as spiritual mentors, not only to Force-sensitive individuals, but to all beings in the galaxy. Jedi will be trained to be spiritual guides, helping others understand their emotions, purpose, and connection to the Force. This new role will require Jedi to not only serve as teachers of the Force, but as spiritual leaders who can mentor others in emotional and personal growth. Jedi will be mentors to leaders, helping politicians, governors, and heads of state to make decisions that are not only in the best interest of their people, but also aligned with spiritual wisdom and peace. Jedi will be involved in diplomatic negotiations, working to mediate between different factions and help resolve conflicts peacefully. They will teach that the galaxy can only thrive when individuals and civilizations work together, not in competition, but in shared responsibility. Jedi will also serve as teachers to younger generations, helping individuals understand their place in the galaxy, navigate emotional challenges, and grow spiritually. Jedi will create training centers for non-Force-sensitive beings, teaching them how to cultivate empathy, balance, and emotional intelligence. This new approach will help create a galaxy where all beings, regardless of their connection to the Force, understand the importance of balance, compassion, and shared responsibility. The Jedi as protectors of the galactic ecosystem. In addition to their roles as spiritual guides and diplomats, the new Jedi Order will be responsible for becoming guardians of the galaxy's ecosystem. Jedi will work to protect the galaxy's natural resources, species, and ecosystems, understanding that the Force is not just about personal growth and balance, but also about maintaining the balance of the living universe. Jedi will serve as environmental advocates, promoting policies that protect endangered species, preserve natural habitats, and ensure the sustainability of resources across the galaxy. Their deep connection to the living Force will allow them to feel the health and vitality of the galaxy's ecosystems, guiding them to protect the delicate balance of the natural world. Jedi will act as guardians of nature, using their Force abilities to ensure that the galaxy's resources are used sustainably and that future generations inherit a healthy, thriving universe. The Jedi and the evolving galactic threats. One of the key aspects of the new Jedi Order will be its ability to adapt to the evolving threats in the galaxy. While the Empire and First Order have been defeated, the galaxy will still face challenges in the form of rogue factions, new criminal syndicates, and other forces that threaten to destabilize the fragile peace. The new Jedi Order will not only serve as peacekeepers and diplomats, but as guides in dealing with the complex moral and ethical dilemmas posed by these new threats. In the past, the Jedi served primarily as warriors, focusing on defending the galaxy through physical conflict. However, the new Jedi Order will emphasize non-violent resolutions and diplomatic solutions to galactic conflicts. Training will focus on conflict mediation, using the Jedi's connection to the Force to sense underlying intentions, emotions, and motivations. Jedi will become experts in conflict resolution, understanding that sometimes the greatest power is not in battle, but in empathy and understanding. The Jedi's role in defending the galaxy will also involve preventing the rise of future tyrannical powers. Jedi will be attuned to signs of corruption or tyranny and will act as the first line of defense against the rise of autocratic rulers. They will guide the galaxy's leaders toward more democratic, inclusive systems of governance, ensuring that the mistakes of the past, where power became concentrated in the hands of a few, are not repeated. However, new threats will also arise from rogue Force users. The rise of new dark side users will present a challenge for the Jedi, as the dark side is ever present, waiting to corrupt those who are unprepared. The Jedi will need to train future generations to recognize the signs of darkness, not just in others, but in themselves. Jedi will learn to see the dark side not as something external, but as an internal struggle that everyone faces. They will guide young Jedi in developing self-awareness, ensuring that the Jedi never repeat the mistakes of their predecessors, who were too blind to see their own flaws and weaknesses. The Jedi and intergalactic science and innovation. In the new Jedi Order, the Jedi will play an essential role in advancing scientific knowledge and technological development in a way that aligns with their spiritual beliefs. While the Jedi have traditionally stayed apart from technology and engineering, viewing these fields as secular and separate from their spiritual practice, the new Jedi Order will take a more integrated approach. The Jedi will no longer view technology as a force that must be either embraced or rejected, but will seek to understand how technology and the Force can work together for the greater good. Jedi will be trained not only in the traditional arts of lightsaber combat, force manipulation, and diplomacy, but also in scientific principles, engineering, and innovation. They will be encouraged to collaborate with scientists, engineers, and technologists to create sustainable solutions for the galaxy's most pressing challenges. For example, the Jedi may develop new Force-powered technologies that blend the living energy of the Force with traditional engineering. Jedi may work on eco-friendly technologies that harness the Force's natural energy to produce clean energy, reducing the galaxy's dependence on harmful resources. Jedi could also collaborate with scholars and engineers to create advanced medical technologies, cure diseases, and develop sustainable agricultural systems that ensure the well-being of the galaxy's inhabitants. Moreover, Jedi will study the cosmos, not only to learn about the galaxies beyond their reach, but to understand the forces of nature that shape the universe. Jedi will work closely with scientists to study the mysteries of space, the nature of time, and the origins of the Force. By combining their spiritual wisdom with scientific knowledge, the Jedi will play a central role in the galaxy's technological renaissance, ensuring that advances in science and engineering align with the values of peace, balance, and sustainability. Jedi, as catalysts for intergalactic unity and healing, One of the most significant roles the new Jedi Order will play is that of unity and healing in a galaxy torn apart by centuries of war. The post-Empire era will require not just rebuilding physical infrastructures, but also restoring the emotional health and spiritual well-being of the galaxy's inhabitants. The Jedi will serve as the galaxy's healers, both physically and spiritually. Jedi will work with planetary leaders, refugee groups, and independent species to heal the emotional wounds of the galaxy. Jedi will counsel those who have lived through the destruction of their homes, the loss of loved ones, and the trauma of oppression. Spiritual healing will be an essential aspect of the new Jedi Order, as Jedi will teach the galaxy's people to process their grief, embrace their emotions, and move forward in a positive direction. The Jedi will work to restore relationships between the galaxy's species, many of which have been fractured by years of war, domination, and oppression. Jedi will act as mediators in interspecies conflicts, helping to bridge gaps between those who have been divided by history. Jedi will help to reconcile communities that have suffered under regimes like the Empire, the First Order, and the Sith. Their teachings will help the galaxy move away from its history of divide and conquer to a future of unity and mutual respect. Through their work in healing, diplomacy, and spiritual guidance, Jedi will also assist in the reconstruction of the galactic economy. The Jedi will not just be focused on spiritual recovery, but will actively work to ensure economic prosperity for all parts of the galaxy. Their understanding of the Force will guide them in creating economic systems that are fair, sustainable, and just, ensuring that the galaxy's resources are used in a way that benefits all beings, not just the powerful. The Jedi's role as galactic healers will extend beyond their traditional duties, making them the central force in rebuilding the moral and spiritual fabric of the galaxy. Their ability to bring balance to both the Force and the galaxy's systems will make them essential in shaping the future of the universe. The Jedi and the evolution of galactic governance. As the new Jedi Order grows in influence, they will not only participate in the political structure of the galaxy, but will actively shape its governance. Unlike the old Jedi Order, which was largely subjugated to the political whims of the Senate or the Republic, the new Jedi Order will operate as advisors and mentors to those in power, ensuring that decisions are made based on spiritual wisdom and balance rather than political agendas. Jedi will work with governments to create democratic structures that are transparent, inclusive, and just. They will be instrumental in the creation of representative bodies, such as galactic councils or interspecies coalitions, where all voices, from humans to Wookiees to Togrutas, can be heard and respected. Jedi will act as mediators in political disputes, ensuring that everyone has a seat at the table and that decisions are made in a way that benefits the greater good. Jedi will also help design systems of justice that are restorative rather than punitive, focusing on healing, reconciliation, and the restoration of balance. By guiding the galaxy's leaders in creating fair, ethical systems of government, the Jedi will help ensure that future generations do not fall prey to the same mistakes that led to the rise of the Empire and the First Order. The Jedi Sep's role in shaping galactic culture. As the new Jedi Order grows, its influence will extend far beyond spiritual leadership and diplomacy. Jedi will play an instrumental role in shaping the culture of the galaxy in a way that emphasizes unity, balance, and respect for diversity. The galaxy has been torn apart by centuries of conflict and division, and the Jedi will help bring about an era where cultural and species differences are celebrated, not feared. Jedi will be teachers, artists, and cultural ambassadors, sharing their knowledge and wisdom with individuals from all walks of life. By fostering a deep connection between all beings, regardless of species, planet, or background, the Jedi will build a culture of understanding that transcends historical divisions. Jedi will create intergalactic cultural exchange programs that allow different species to learn from one another, celebrate their unique traditions, and build new relationships based on shared respect and cooperation. The Jedi's influence on galactic culture will also manifest through the arts. Jedi will encourage the creation of music, literature, theater, visual arts that express the galaxy's rich diversity while also promoting the core values of the new Jedi Order: peace, balance, and spiritual unity. Jedi will help the galaxy's people heal through creative expression, using art as a form of catharsis, communication, and personal transformation. These cultural works will become the legacy of the Jedi's time, a wellspring of wisdom, beauty, and hope for future generations. In addition, Jedi will establish cultural centers across the galaxy where people can come together to learn about different philosophies, spiritual traditions, and Force practices. These centers will offer workshops, lectures, and community-building activities that encourage cross-cultural understanding and spiritual growth. Jedi will not be the gatekeepers of knowledge, but rather guides who facilitate the sharing of wisdom among species, helping to build a more connected and cooperative galaxy. Jedi and galactic economics, building a sustainable future. The new Jedi Order's influence on the galaxy will extend to galactic economics as well. Jedi, with their deep connection to the Force, will use their wisdom to help create sustainable economic systems that prioritize the well-being of all beings, not just the elite few. The Jedi will guide future leaders in developing economies that focus on equitable growth, resource management, and long-term sustainability, rather than short-term profit. The galactic economy has often been defined by exploitation, greed, and the accumulation of power. The Empire and the First Order operated on systems that left entire planets and species in poverty, oppression, and exploitation. Jedi, however, will work to rebuild an economy that respects all beings, protects natural resources, and ensures that the needs of the many are met. Jedi-led economic initiatives will focus on sustainable practices. They will guide the galaxy toward green technologies, focusing on clean energy sources that do not harm the environment. The Jedi will be involved in resource conservation projects that protect ecosystems and help to restore galactic biodiversity. They will also help foster economic practices that are mindful of the future, avoiding the greed and excess that has led to galactic instability in the past. Jedi will also help the galaxy's people reconnect with the natural world. They will encourage sustainable agriculture that works in harmony with natural ecosystems and promotes the well-being of all species. Jedi will show that economic prosperity does not have to come at the expense of the environment or the welfare of others. Instead, prosperity can be achieved through balance, resource sharing, and a focus on collective growth. 80 as educators, fostering galactic wisdom and emotional intelligence. The new Jedi Order will play a crucial role in galactic education, not only in teaching Force-sensitive individuals the ways of the Force, but also in spreading wisdom and spiritual guidance to all beings across the galaxy. Jedi will establish educational institutions on planets across the galaxy, offering courses in philosophy, emotional intelligence, ethics, leadership, and the ways of the Force. These institutions will not only train future Jedi, but also offer learning opportunities for those who wish to understand the balance of the Force and how it can be used to improve their lives and societies. In the new Jedi Order, Jedi will emphasize personal growth and self-awareness in their teachings. They will be mentors, helping their students understand their emotions, develop resilience, and live in balance with the universe. Jedi training will focus on emotional intelligence, teaching future Jedi how to recognize their emotions, manage them, and use them for positive outcomes. Jedi will teach that emotions are not something to repress, but something to understand, transform, and integrate into one's spiritual journey. Jedi will also promote compassionate leadership through their educational programs. Rather than training Jedi to be mere warriors or guards, they will be trained to be leaders, mentors, and spiritual guides. The Jedi will teach that true leadership is about service to others, and that the greatest leaders are those who listen, learn, and guide others toward greater unity and balance. Jedi will instill the values of humility, empathy, and understanding in the next generation of leaders, ensuring that the galaxy is led not by the will to dominate, but by the desire to serve and heal. Jedi training will also focus on conflict resolution and negotiation. Future Jedi will be taught how to engage with differing ideologies, species, and cultures in ways that promote understanding and shared growth. Jedi will be experts in mediating disputes and bringing peace between opposing factions, using their deep spiritual wisdom and connection to the Force to find common ground and promote unity. The Jedi and the integration of new Force users. The galaxy will likely see the emergence of new Force-sensitive individuals who may not be raised in the traditional Jedi system. These new Force users will come from various backgrounds and cultures, and the new Jedi Order will need to find ways to integrate them into their teachings without imposing rigid systems. Jedi will learn to embrace diversity in Force usage, understanding that each individual's connection to the Force is unique, and that the traditional Jedi path is not the only path to spiritual enlightenment. These new Force-sensitive beings may come from places where the Jedi were once seen as a threat, or were actively hunted, and the new Jedi Order will need to reconcile with these past wrongs while embracing these individuals as partners in the restoration of peace. Jedi will seek to understand these new Force users, learn from their experiences, and integrate them into a unified community where balance is prioritized over dogma. Rather than imposing a singular Jedi way of life, the Jedi will learn to incorporate different perspectives and methods into their training. The new Jedi Order will encourage collaboration with other Force-using traditions, allowing Jedi to expand their understanding of the Force beyond the confines of their traditional teachings. This collaboration will lead to new discoveries in the Force, helping to enrich the spiritual journey of Jedi and future Force users. The new Jedi Order will be inclusive, embracing all forms of Force sensitivity and working to integrate them into a shared understanding of the Force that is rooted in balance and unity. This shift will ensure that the Jedi grow and evolve with the galaxy, rather than remaining stagnant in the old ways that ultimately led to their fall. The Jedi's long-term legacy, a new path for the galaxy. The new Jedi Order will leave a profound legacy on the galaxy, one defined not by war or dominance, but by balance, healing, and unity. Future generations will look to the Jedi not as warriors, but as spiritual leaders and guardians of peace, who helped shape the galaxy's cultural evolution. The Jedi's influence will be felt across the galaxy, not only in government and spiritual practices, but in the arts, economy, and education. Jedi will be remembered for their wisdom, compassion, and ability to bring together diverse peoples to create a more harmonious and unified galaxy. Their approach to balance and emotional growth will influence how future generations understand their place in the galaxy and their relationship to the Force. The new Jedi Order will serve as the cornerstone of a new age, An age where peace is not just the absence of war, but the presence of unity. An age where the Force is understood as a living energy that connects all beings and guides them towards spiritual growth and intergalactic cooperation. The Jedi, an emerging galactic technologies, a symbiosis of spirit and science. One of the most intriguing aspects of the new Jedi Order is its integration with technological advancements and its evolving relationship with science. While Jedi of the past were often seen as spiritualists who shunned the use of advanced technology, the new Jedi Order will embrace technology not as a replacement for the spiritual connection to the Force, but as a tool to enhance the Jedi's ability to serve the galaxy. The Jedi will no longer be bound by outdated perceptions of technology, seeing it as either a necessary evil or a deterrent to spiritual development. Instead, they will actively work with scientists, engineers, and tech innovators to harness the potential of technology, while ensuring that it aligns with their values of peace, balance, and sustainability. One of the most fascinating elements of the new Jedi Order will be its development of Force-sensitive technologies that could transform entire sectors of galactic life. For example, living ships that communicate with the Force and grow according to the needs of the galaxy's various civilizations could become the new standard for interstellar travel. Energy sources that are powered by the living Force could replace dangerous polluting fuel systems, creating a new eco-friendly energy paradigm across the galaxy. Jedi will also collaborate with scientists to create biotechnological advancements that allow for long-term sustainability and healthcare solutions that use the Force in ways that help rejuvenate both the galaxy's people and its ecosystems. In this era of technological expansion, the Jedi will not shy away from the opportunities it presents. Instead, they will work to ensure that technology is used not for domination, but for progress and the greater good. The Jedi's connection to the living Force will guide their involvement with emerging technological innovations, ensuring that all developments are sustainable, ethical, and aligned with the Jedi code of balance, empathy, and compassion. Additionally, the new Jedi Order will likely develop its own specialized technologies, such as Force-imbued tools, holocrons with enhanced capabilities, and advanced communication systems that are interconnected with the Force itself. These new technologies will allow Jedi to engage in a more profound understanding of the universe and its mysteries, while ensuring that these innovations are used responsibly. The Jedi will act as custodians of technology, ensuring that it serves as a means to further peace and connection, not as a tool for oppression or exploitation. The Jedi and the rise of new threats, prevention, adaptation, and balance. While the Empire and First Order may have been defeated, the galaxy remains fraught with the potential for new threats. These new forces will not only come from rogue Sith, dark side users, or militant factions, but also from those who misuse the Force for selfish gain. The new Jedi Order will have to adapt to these challenges in ways that are innovative and compassionate, focusing on prevention, education, and long-term balance. Unlike the Jedi of the past, who were caught off guard by the Sith's resurgence and the rise of the Empire, the new Jedi Order will be prepared to recognize early signs of galactic unrest. Jedi will no longer sit passively on the sidelines, but will actively monitor the galaxy for potential threats, using their connection to the Force to foresee crises before they escalate. The Jedi will work as detectives, investigating the causes of instability in the galaxy and preventing conflict before it turns violent. Their primary role will not be fighting wars, but preventing them, focusing on diplomatic solutions, conflict mediation, and peace-building in the early stages. In addressing Sith resurgence or the rise of dark side users, the new Jedi Order will take a more inclusive approach, understanding that the dark side is not simply an external force to be fought against, but a potential within every force-sensitive being. Jedi will focus on educating the galaxy's people about the dangers of the dark side, teaching them how to recognize and combat it within themselves. This focus on self-awareness and self-mastery will ensure that the new Jedi Order is not only defending against external threats, but is also teaching others how to find balance within their own hearts. The Jedi Sith's role in intergalactic diplomacy and justice. The new Jedi Order will transform the galactic role of the Jedi, shifting their focus from purely combat to becoming trusted mediators and spiritual advisors. The galaxy will no longer need militant Jedi, those who act as soldiers on the front lines, but Jedi who serve as diplomats and peacemakers, skilled in navigating the complexities of intergalactic relations. Jedi will serve as neutral parties in galactic negotiations, working to de-escalate tensions and find solutions to conflicts before they become violent confrontations. The Jedi's spiritual wisdom will make them ideal advisors to political leaders, who will look to the Jedi for guidance on governance, justice, and conflict resolution. The new Jedi Order will work closely with galactic leaders, political bodies, and military forces to ensure that decisions are made with balance, peace, and long-term stability in mind. Jedi will not only mediate conflicts, but will also help design systems of justice that are fair, restorative, and inclusive, where healing takes precedence over retribution. As spiritual leaders, Jedi will also teach the galaxy about the importance of empathy, self-reflection, and non-violence. They will guide political figures toward understanding the root causes of conflicts, such as inequality, poverty, and corruption, and will work to eradicate these issues through spiritual healing, education, and reconciliation. Jedi will play a key role in promoting galactic unity, teaching that only through cooperation and mutual respect can peace be maintained. Furthermore, the Jedi will play a central role in creating a universal system of galactic law that promotes fairness and equity. They will help establish interplanetary justice systems where crimes are judged fairly and where the focus is on restorative justice, helping individuals who have caused harm to understand their actions and work toward personal transformation. The new Jedi Order will be at the forefront of developing a system that fosters galactic peace, spiritual growth, and long-term prosperity for all species, rather than one based on dominance or repression. The Jedi and the greater mysteries of the Force. The new Jedi Order will not just focus on practical applications of the Force, but will also embark on a deeper journey to understand the mystical and metaphysical aspects of the Force. As the galaxy recovers from the wounds of the past, the Jedi will begin to explore the deeper mysteries that lie beyond the known realms of the Force, seeking to understand its origins, its connection to life, and its true potential. One area of great importance will be the study of Force ghosts, the ability to preserve one's consciousness after death, and the mysteries that lie in the afterlife. The Jedi will seek to expand their knowledge of the Force and unlock new abilities to connect with the Force beyond the physical realm. The Force dyad as experienced by Rey and Kylo Ren could serve as the key to understanding how Jedi can merge their consciousnesses, communicate across time and space, and extend their influence in ways that were previously unimaginable. Additionally, the Jedi will begin exploring new aspects of the cosmic force, the living energy that binds all things together. As the Jedi continue their training, they will strive to become one with the Force, unlocking new insights into how the galaxy's energy systems interact with the Force. These discoveries will shape how future Jedi connect with and channel the Force, enabling them to perform feats that blend spiritual mastery with scientific understanding. The Jedi's role will not be limited to only restoring balance in the Force, but also in ensuring that this balance extends to all aspects of galactic life. While their main mission will be to ensure peace, this will require them to not only work with the Force-sensitive beings, but to actively engage with non-Force users, who make up the majority of the galaxy. The new Jedi Order will serve as a mediating force between species and factions that might not share the same values, backgrounds, or understanding of the Force. In doing so, they will ensure that universal peace is not the goal of a single group, but the collective effort of many diverse peoples and planets. The Jedi will have to evolve into diplomats, using their deep knowledge of interpersonal dynamics and the Force to guide societies toward harmony. They will not simply be warriors sent to resolve conflict with lightsabers, but will take on the role of spiritual healers and advisors. They will help different species and governments come to the table to negotiate peace, help them see past their differences, and build a shared understanding of justice and equality. Rather than intervening through force, Jedi will employ their wisdom and compassion to foster peace at a deeper level by guiding political and social leaders in the principles of unity, restoration, and cooperation. As they navigate the political landscape, Jedi will be called upon to resolve disputes, mediate conflicts, and guide the decision-makers in their efforts to create fairer and more inclusive galactic governance. The Jedi will work to ensure that representative councils are formed, where all species have a voice in galactic decisions. They will encourage the galaxy's governments to create systems that serve the collective good, ensuring that the political decisions made by leaders take into account the needs of the many, not just the powerful few. Jedi will work directly with these leaders to ensure that their policies reflect a deep understanding of compassion and justice, with a focus on ensuring that every individual, regardless of their species, background, or connection to the Force, has the opportunity to thrive in peace. While the Jedi's role will be to promote galactic peace, they will also ensure that justice systems across the galaxy are restorative and balanced. In the past, the Jedi were often involved in the enforcement of strict laws, handing out punishments and ensuring order. However, the new Jedi Order will shift focus from enforcing the law to helping those who have made mistakes understand the true nature of their actions and work to restore balance to their lives and the galaxy. Jedi will work alongside local communities to create systems of restorative justice that emphasize healing and reconciliation, helping individuals rebuild their lives rather than simply punishing them for their past mistakes. Jedi will also confront the moral dilemmas that come with intergalactic diversity. The galaxy is made up of countless species, each with its own unique values, cultural norms, and understanding of the Force. The Jedi will have to develop an understanding of these differences and navigate how they can help bridge cultural gaps. The Jedi will promote mutual respect and cultural exchange, encouraging species to learn from each other while honoring each culture's unique identity. The Jedi will not impose their views on others, but rather guide them through interactions that promote peace and understanding. Jedi will work with each culture and species to help them understand the importance of unity and diversity, fostering peace and harmony through shared wisdom. The Jedi will also play an important role in training the next generation of galactic leaders. By guiding young minds, Jedi will help shape the future of galactic governance. Jedi will establish educational centers across the galaxy, offering courses in Force philosophy, ethical leadership, diplomacy, and intergalactic peacekeeping. These centers will not only teach the ways of the Jedi, but will also provide a space for non-Force-sensitive individuals to learn moral philosophy, emotional intelligence, and conflict resolution. Jedi will provide mentorship to those who wish to become future leaders of the galaxy, ensuring that the next generation of galactic leaders is equipped to create a more equitable and just society. As the Jedi's role continues to evolve, they will also confront new galactic challenges. The galaxy will face emerging threats in the form of new dark side users, corruption, and political instability. The new Jedi Order will prepare for these challenges by developing proactive measures to maintain peace, focusing on early intervention and preventive strategies. Rather than waiting for conflict to arise, the Jedi will work to address underlying issues before they escalate. This might involve building stronger relationships with political and social leaders, helping them recognize early signs of corruption and violence, and offering guidance on spiritual resilience and balance. The new Jedi Order will also focus on addressing the spiritual needs of the galaxy. Jedi will help individuals connect with the Force in a way that promotes personal growth and spiritual enlightenment. They will encourage people to embrace their emotions and find balance in their lives, understanding that the Force is not about repression, but about connection and understanding. The Jedi will work to create a galaxy-wide spiritual awakening, helping people to understand that the Force is not something to be feared or dominated, but something that is inherent in all life, waiting to be embraced. As the galaxy grows and changes, the Jedi will ensure that spirituality remains at the core of all their work. They will help the galaxy's people understand that true peace comes from balance, not just in the physical realm but in the spiritual realm as well. By guiding people to recognize the interconnectedness of all life, Jedi will promote a unified galaxy where people of all species and backgrounds can work together for the greater good. Jedi, as defenders of balance, rethinking galactic defense, the new Jedi Order will transform the concept of galactic defense. The Jedi will no longer be seen as warriors or soldiers, but as defenders of balance, using their deep understanding of the Force to ensure peace without relying on brute force. While the Jedi have always been guardians of peace, the emphasis in the new Jedi Order will shift from being soldiers on the front lines to preventative peacekeepers who guide galactic societies in resolving conflicts without violence. Their role will evolve into spiritual leadership, where their primary goal will be to maintain harmony rather than simply combating the forces of destruction. In the face of new galactic threats, Jedi will focus on the root causes of conflict. They will work proactively to address the political, economic, and social tensions that often lead to violence. By using the Force to read the underlying emotions and motivations of warring factions, Jedi will intervene early to prevent conflict from escalating. Their training in diplomacy, mediation, and emotional intelligence will allow them to de-escalate tensions before they erupt into war. The Jedi's role as defenders of balance will also extend to their relationship with military forces. While the Jedi will continue to fight when necessary, they will avoid military engagement as the first option. Instead, they will emphasize defensive rather than offensive action. Jedi will seek to protect rather than dominate, focusing on using the Force to defend innocence and uphold peace rather than to wage war. They will serve as advisors to military commanders, helping them understand the moral implications of their actions and ensuring that warfare is only used as a last resort. This shift in Jedi philosophy will also require them to engage in collaboration with existing military organizations. The Jedi will offer their services as spiritual guides, helping soldiers navigate the ethical and emotional toll that war takes on them. By ensuring that their teachings focus on emotional growth and moral responsibility, Jedi will work to help others understand the importance of balance, not just in the Force, but in every aspect of galactic defense. The new Jedi Order will also maintain a force of Jedi peacekeepers who are trained in combat. But their primary responsibility will be to ensure that the galaxy remains stable and that conflict is resolved peacefully. This might include standing between warring factions to act as neutral mediators, diffusing tension and offering alternative solutions. The Jedi will also serve as advisors to governments, helping them avoid making decisions that could lead to unnecessary conflict and escalation. At the Force, mastery of balance as a defensive strategy. At the core of the new Jedi Order's defense strategy will be a mastery of balance. Jedi will not simply rely on their physical strength or weaponry, but on their understanding of the living force to deflect aggression and bring about harmonious solutions. In times of crisis, the Jedi will strengthen their connection to the Force, allowing them to sense disturbances in the galaxy long before they become threats. By working with the Force, Jedi will be able to use its wisdom to predict, understand, and resolve potential conflicts, turning the tide of galactic defense from reactive to proactive. Rather than confronting enemies directly, Jedi will use the Force to create defensive barriers, not just physical shields, but spiritual protection that helps to mitigate the impact of aggression. Jedi will help neutralize conflict by calming emotions, preventing the escalation of violence, and fostering a deeper understanding between opposing parties. Their expertise in using the Force as a defensive tool will allow them to become shields for the galaxy, a protective force that ensures balance is maintained across all sectors. In combat situations, Jedi will no longer engage solely through lightsaber duels or telekinetic force, but will use their connection to the Force to engage in spiritual defense. They will deflect attacks in ways that prevent harm to themselves or others, using their mastery of the Force to protect without causing destruction. Jedi will engage in non-lethal combat, using the Force to disable opponents rather than kill. Their lightsabers will become symbols not of destruction but of protection and defense, ensuring that the galaxy is shielded from harm, both physically and spiritually. Jedi as mediators in intergalactic politics and new galactic alliances. The new Jedi Order will significantly influence the future of intergalactic politics, becoming the primary force in maintaining galactic unity and cooperation. In a galaxy that has been long fractured by conflict, the Jedi will serve as mediators between various political factions and species, working to restore the unity that was lost during the reign of the Empire and the rise of the First Order. Jedi will not be merely advisors to existing political systems, but will actively work to forge new alliances and create systems that are more inclusive, democratic, and compassionate. They will work alongside existing governments to develop frameworks for intergalactic governance that represent the best interests of all species, particularly those who have been historically oppressed or marginalized. Through their intergalactic diplomatic efforts, Jedi will guide the galaxy toward a new era of peaceful coexistence, where systems work together rather than in competition. Jedi will create interspecies councils and galactic summits where all voices can be heard and decisions are made based on shared wisdom and spiritual guidance. Rather than acting as authorities, the Jedi will function as servants of the galaxy, ensuring that the policies of future galactic leaders reflect a deep understanding of the Force and its role in creating balance. In a galaxy that has been torn apart by war, the new Jedi Order will help build the foundations of a lasting peace. ensuring that future generations can live without the fear of domination or destruction. Jedi will act as spiritual leaders who provide guidance not just to politicians, but to the people of the galaxy, helping them find a sense of purpose and unity that transcends their differences. The Jedi Sith's role in galactic healing, addressing emotional and spiritual recovery. The new Jedi Order will also serve as a healing force in the galaxy. The emotional and psychological toll of the galaxy's wars, particularly the Clone Wars, the rise of the Empire, and the First Order, has left countless beings traumatized, wounded, and in need of spiritual recovery. The Jedi will be central to this healing process, helping individuals and communities mend not only their physical wounds, but also their emotional and spiritual scars. Jedi will work with various species and systems to restore balance to individuals who have been affected by violence, oppression, or warfare. They will teach people how to process grief, forgive past wrongs, and move forward with a sense of peace. Jedi will set up healing centers, where individuals can come to reflect, meditate, and connect with the Force in a way that promotes personal growth and emotional stability. The Jedi will also train others, not just Jedi, how to engage in spiritual healing. Jedi will develop techniques and tools that others can use to help those suffering from emotional trauma and mental health issues. These teachings will focus on self-care, meditation, and the healing power of the Force, helping individuals understand that healing is a shared responsibility. Jedi will help ensure that the galactic recovery is as much about spiritual growth and emotional healing as it is about political and economic reconstruction. The new Jedi Order will not only evolve the role of the Jedi in defending peace and building unity, but it will create a galaxy-wide culture that prioritizes balance, healing, and understanding. Through their involvement in intergalactic diplomacy, defense, and spiritual guidance, the Jedi will ensure that the galaxy's future is defined by peace, unity, and sustainable growth. The new Jedi Order will not only redefine the role of the Jedi, but will also evolve the broader galactic structure. With their deep connection to the Force, Jedi will serve as intermediaries between species, governments, and various factions, creating a culture of understanding and cooperation rather than conflict. Their primary role will be to guide the galaxy toward a future where peace is not just a goal, but a way of life. Jedi will approach each new threat or diplomatic challenge by fostering dialogue, empathy, and mutual respect, principles that were lacking in the past. Rather than seeing the galaxy as a collection of separate entities, the Jedi will work to create a unified whole. They will act as spiritual leaders, not just guiding their fellow Jedi, but offering wisdom and guidance to all beings, regardless of whether they are Force-sensitive or not. The Jedi will teach that true peace comes from understanding and balance, and they will lead by example, working to create systems that reflect these values. The Jedi's role as mediators will be particularly important in times of political instability, especially as the galaxy grapples with the aftermath of years of war. Their training in conflict resolution and emotional intelligence will allow them to navigate complex situations without resorting to violence. They will work directly with leaders of various political factions, helping them make decisions that are compassionate and just. This approach to galactic governance will shift the focus from power struggles to cooperation and healing. Jedi will actively engage in educating leaders about the importance of unity, compassion, and shared responsibility, ensuring that future leaders are prepared to make decisions that will not only benefit their own species, but the galaxy as a whole. Through their efforts, the Jedi will help the galaxy move from a cycle of war and division to one of growth, cooperation, and spiritual awakening. As they rebuild the galaxy, Jedi will not simply focus on military defense, but on emotional and spiritual recovery. They will understand that the emotional and psychological toll of war has left deep scars that cannot be healed by force alone. Jedi will serve as counselors, offering guidance to those who have suffered from the trauma of battle, oppression, or loss. Their work will include not just spiritual healing, but also practical support, helping people find a way forward by restoring faith in themselves and each other. Jedi will be the first to recognize the importance of emotional intelligence and mental health in creating a peaceful galaxy, ensuring that individuals and societies can rebuild not just their infrastructure, but their hearts and minds as well. As the galaxy begins to recover, the Jedi will also help ensure that future generations are educated in the ways of peace, understanding, and unity. Jedi training will focus on developing not just the physical skills to wield a lightsaber, but the spiritual and emotional resilience to lead others. They will be mentors in every sense of the word, showing others how to balance their emotions, understand their own actions, and use the Force for the greater good. Future Jedi will be trained to see the Force not as a weapon but as a tool for spiritual growth, healing, and diplomacy. This new approach to Jedi training will ensure that the Order's influence extends far beyond combat and defense, and that Jedi are seen as spiritual guides and leaders in every aspect of galactic life. The new Jedi Order will also redefine its relationship with the dark side. While Jedi in the past were trained to avoid emotions at all costs, the new Jedi Order will teach that emotions are part of being alive and should be understood rather than suppressed. Jedi will be taught to recognize the dark side within themselves and others, but instead of fearing it, they will learn how to transform it into strength. They will not run from fear, anger, or hate, but will learn how to use these emotions to grow and expand their understanding of the Force. Jedi will understand that the dark side is not an enemy to be destroyed, but a force to be understood and integrated into a balanced life. This new understanding will allow Jedi to become more compassionate, more complete, and more in tune with the galaxy around them. In addition to their role in galactic peacekeeping, the new Jedi Order will also take on the responsibility of exploring the mysteries of the Force and the universe. Jedi will not be restricted by traditional boundaries, but will seek to understand the deepest secrets of the cosmos, learning to communicate with Force ghosts, explore the afterlife, and even study the true origins of the Force itself. The Jedi will become guardians of knowledge, ensuring that the wisdom of the ancients is preserved and shared, helping the galaxy to evolve not just in technology, but in its spiritual understanding as well. They will push the boundaries of what is known and reach beyond the stars, expanding their connection to the living Force and teaching others how to do the same. As they continue to evolve, the new Jedi Order will become the heart of a galactic renaissance. A new era where spiritual wisdom, emotional balance, and cooperation define the way galactic societies function. Jedi will help individuals and governments navigate the complexities of life, bringing peace not just to their systems but to their souls. The Force will no longer be seen as something that divides, but as something that connects, and the Jedi will be the living embodiment of that connection, guiding the galaxy toward a future that is not only peaceful but spiritually fulfilled. They will be the guides for future generations, ensuring that the mistakes of the past are not repeated and that the galaxy moves forward into a new age of understanding, balance, and unity. Let's continue expanding on how the new Jedi Order will shape the future of galactic society, focusing on their interaction with new Force-sensitive groups, the galactic economy, and their role in educating future generations. As the galaxy recovers from years of chaos, Jedi will act as mentors not only to future Jedi, but to non-Force sensitive individuals as well, guiding them to become better leaders, stewards of the Force, and keepers of balance in the galaxy. Their impact will extend far beyond their traditional role as warriors and peacekeepers, positioning them as the cornerstone of galactic renewal. The new Jedi Order will not just be a spiritual and defensive organization, it will evolve into a force that reshapes galactic values. By fostering emotional intelligence, ethical decision-making, and holistic development, Jedi will help entire societies rebuild and thrive. Their spiritual wisdom will guide political leaders, but more importantly, it will encourage self-awareness and compassion among all beings, helping to rebuild the foundation of a galaxy scarred by war, fear, and division. Building connections and unity through diverse Force traditions. One of the most profound shifts will be the integration of varied Force traditions into the new Jedi Order. The galaxy has long been divided into different schools of thought regarding the Force. In the past, Jedi adhered strictly to their own doctrines, while the Sith embodied the dark side as an inherent source of power. As the new Jedi Order takes shape, the Jedi will acknowledge the diversity of Force users across the galaxy. Rather than maintaining a separate and isolated identity, the Jedi will embrace Force traditions from a wide array of cultures, learning to blend their ancient Jedi teachings with the knowledge and practices of other Force-sensitive groups. The Jedi will welcome the idea of learning from others, including groups such as the Wills, Dathomir witches, and Force users who have traditionally been outside of Jedi influence. Through shared wisdom and cross-cultural exchange, the Jedi will evolve their understanding of the Force, realizing that no one tradition holds the complete truth. This open-mindedness will not only enrich the Jedi's spiritual practice, but also foster a galaxy-wide respect for diversity. Mutual learning will form the core of the new Jedi Order, ensuring that Jedi see themselves as guardians of knowledge, rather than possessors of the truth. The Jedi Code will evolve to reflect this new philosophical integration. Future Jedi will be trained not to view the Force as a monolithic power divided between light and dark, but as a dynamic living energy that exists in harmony with the galaxy's ecosystems, emotions, and cultures. Jedi will learn to understand and adapt to the diverse ways the Force manifests, seeing it as a shared power that connects all life. The Jedi Sith's role in galvanizing the galactic economy. The new Jedi Order will play a key role in galactic economics as well. With their understanding of balance and sustainable practices, Jedi will help the galaxy recover from the economic devastation wrought by decades of warfare and the control of powerful authoritarian regimes. Jedi will take on the role of economic advisors, working alongside leaders of trade federations, resource-rich planets, and independent worlds to establish fairer trade practices, resource management, and sustainable development. Instead of relying on exploitation or centralized control like the Empire or First Order, Jedi will advocate for systems that foster equity and collaboration. They will encourage economic growth that focuses not on the accumulation of wealth by a few, but on collective prosperity. Jedi will help teach that true economic health is not measured by stock prices or military spending, but by quality of life, environmental sustainability, and community well-being. The new Jedi Order will also be involved in fostering intergalactic commerce that uplifts and empowers planets and species that were historically oppressed. Jedi will work to dismantle the power structures that keep the wealthy few in control, replacing them with fairer systems that allow individuals and communities to flourish. They will help to create an economic ecosystem where balance reigns and resources are shared across the galaxy to meet the needs of all beings. The Jedi's role will include helping to rebuild industries on war-torn planets, restoring trade routes that were disrupted by the rise of the Empire and the First Order, and ensuring that technological advancements are used for the common good, rather than to further enrich the few. Jedi will also be instrumental in integrating eco-friendly technologies that use the Force to generate clean energy, preserve natural resources, and promote galactic health, education, and the future of the galaxy. In the new Jedi Order, education will be central to their mission. Jedi will not only train the next generation of Force-sensitive individuals, but will also serve as mentors to the galaxy's general population. Their approach to education will go beyond traditional Jedi training, focusing on holistic development and spiritual guidance for all beings, regardless of their Force sensitivity. Jedi will establish intergalactic educational institutions that teach not only Force philosophy, but also emotional intelligence, leadership skills, conflict resolution, and galactic history. These training centers will be places of personal growth, where Jedi and non-Force sensitive beings alike can learn to live in balance with the galaxy and each other. Jedi will teach that the Force is not just for combat, but for building community, bridging gaps, and fostering understanding. The goal will be to empower individuals with the tools they need to lead compassionately, responsibly, and wisely. Jedi will work closely with other educational systems, integrating their teachings into universal curriculums that promote not just intellectual growth, but spiritual and emotional well-being as well. Jedi will also take an active role in educating leaders across the galaxy, teaching them how to govern with balance, justice, and understanding. They will create schools for diplomacy, where leaders can learn to approach intergalactic conflicts with empathy and respect rather than violence. The Jedi's involvement in education will ensure that future generations of galactic leaders are equipped not only with political and economic tools, but with the spiritual wisdom to lead with compassion. In this new era, Jedi will no longer be seen as distant figures of authority and mysticism, but as guides, mentors, and teachers who help all beings realize their potential, master their emotions, and live in harmony with the universe. The Jedi's role as spiritual guides will be deeply integrated into every aspect of galactic society, helping to ensure that future generations are raised to value balance, compassion, and wisdom above all else. The new Jedi Order will mark a profound shift in the galaxy's future, evolving from a traditional, combat-driven institution into a force for spiritual guidance, peace, unity, and galactic renewal. No longer confined to the role of mere warriors or peacekeepers, Jedi will become spiritual mentors, diplomats, and advisors, ensuring that the galaxy moves forward into an age defined not by division and violence, but by balance, cooperation, and healing. Their focus will shift from just defending peace to building it, both within individuals and across civilizations, species, and political factions. Through a deepened understanding of the Force, the Jedi will learn to embrace the full spectrum of emotions and energy, recognizing that true peace comes not from suppression or avoidance, but from balance, understanding and channeling both the light and dark aspects of the Force in a way that benefits the greater good. The Jedi will act as guardians of peace, but in a new way, fostering restorative justice and healing across the galaxy, while also guiding and mentoring future generations of leaders and citizens. Their role will extend beyond traditional training by becoming integrated into the economic, political, and educational systems of the galaxy. Jedi will rebuild economies, teach wisdom to political leaders, and guide societies in emotional intelligence and ethical decision-making. Through collaboration with non-force-sensitive beings, the Jedi will help unite the galaxy by establishing systems of justice, cooperation, and sustainability. They will play a vital role in developing a galaxy-wide culture of understanding, where all species and individuals have a place and voice in the ongoing evolution of galactic society. In this new era, the Jedi will not just serve as protectors, but as spiritual architects, shaping a future where the galaxy lives in harmony with the Force. A future of balance, peace, and shared wisdom. The new Jedi Order will ensure that the mistakes of the past are never repeated, creating a galaxy where individuals and societies alike thrive under the guiding principles of empathy, justice, and unity. Ultimately, the Jedi will guide the galaxy to its true destiny, a unified and spiritually enlightened galaxy, where the Force is a shared responsibility and a universal path to growth, peace, and sustainability for all beings. This journey of transformation for the new Jedi Order is not just about restoring peace, it's about reimagining what peace can be and shaping a future where the Force is a living energy that guides all of galactic civilization toward greater balance and harmony.